now to talk about this is the Dream Team. Like no other, HLN law enforcement analyst Mike Brooks, criminal defense attorney extraordinaire Janet Johnson, and prosecutor Latonya Hines. So let's dissect this down, okay? And Mike, I got to start with you because the investigation apparently has started anew. Do you have any confidence that they have something real here? Why are they searching an area that arguably should have been, no stone should have been unturned years ago?
Well, the Portuguese say that they have already looked in this area, but how well did they look? The reason they're in this area is because someone who was seen leaving the Ocean Club with a little girl by witnesses was walking in this direction. It's about a 5-minute walk. And I don't think the Portuguese went down there with ground-penetrating radar, with all the technology that New Scotland Yard has brought in there now. So why not go down there and search these 3 areas?
Why not? But Janet, I mean, should you not have done this? You have heart rate. The parents are outraged, obviously.
Right, it doesn't help the case to wait this long, and it seems like there's a little bit of a conflict between what Scotland Yard would have done and what the Portuguese would have done. But when I hear the woman say this is bad for tourism, if that's your little girl, you don't care about tourism. So what? I agree with that. But it is a little late, and hopefully it hasn't compromised the case.
Well, if the Portuguese had done their job in the beginning, then the British wouldn't have to, do what they're doing now.
And therein lies the issue. So, Latonya, to Janet's point, if you're the parents, you don't, tourism, obviously we care about tourism, but to the exclusion of finding a 3-year-old?
Well,
seriously?
Well, if they had an issue about tourism, it's been since 2007, a child went missing. One of the things you want to do is make sure that you find somebody who's gone missing. You want people to be able to come back to the country. And so you want to get this resolved, and that's one of the big things. And I think one of the things, too, is that the Portuguese, they focused a lot on the parents, and they didn't spend a lot of time looking at other things. And they only went to that one area for a quick period of time, and they didn't go and check and see whether or not this child could possibly be deceased. They were looking for someone who kidnapped.
Exactly. Janet Johnson, was that a mistake? Focusing on the parents, not looking with they have this great equipment, too, right? Where you can find things, so why not?
And you can do 2 things at once. You can have a suspect, and this is what law enforcement has to do, is multitask. You have a suspect. The parents are obviously going to be a suspect. That's not crazy, but then you don't exclude the other avenues of finding her dead or alive, as they say in law enforcement.
Right, and they didn't look at all the other patterns of break-ins around that same time until the British got involved and started taking a look at all these phone records between some of these people that they were looking at as possible suspects all around that same time. So I think the Portuguese dropped the ball, and now the Brits have picked it up and are trying to run with it to try to find out what really happened to this little girl.
And it's not about nationalism. It's about finding this little girl. Stop being so concerned about the Portuguese being concerned about how their reputation is. Do all that you can. If you can use the resources of Scotland Yard, use them.
100%. Absolutely. And on that issue, Janet, really interagency or international non-cooperation? Really? Shouldn't we be cooperating towards a particular goal to find the girl?
Right, and they don't call it Scotland Yard for nothing. We obviously all know that Scotland Yard has a great reputation, but when you hear that woman, and I don't want to pick on that particular person, it could be she's not, the typical person in Portugal, but obviously the citizenry is not behind this. And I would assume that the Portuguese officials are influenced a little bit by what people are saying in the community.
Sure. Now, Mike, that's a problem, though, because I know law enforcement relies upon community support, community participation, obviously not exclusively, but it's important. So when you have residents who are saying, hey, tourism first, how does that impede things?
I put tourism aside. Who cares about tourism right now? Just like Latonya said, if you want to totally just say, put this to bed, let's solve this case, and then you won't have people who might want a vacation there saying, oh, well, when they never solved that case, do I want to go there? Probably not. So solve the case, and it'll help you tourism.
Absolutely. Dream Team stays in place. And just a reminder for all of you, we have much more on the Madeleine McCann story at Facebook.